a strange and desolate landscape lives a snake that has adapted to survive in scorching heat and freezing cold. It's easily provoked by humans, and its venom could be lethal. But it's one of the rarest snakes in the Americas, and it's never been studied. Determined to track it down so this study can begin, reptile hunter and scientist Mark O'Shea heads into an arid land of vast plains and salt mountains. Patagonia stretches from northern Argentina to the tip of South America, covering 300,000 square miles. This lonely region is the home of a venomous snake called the Patagonian lancehead. It lives further south than any other snake in the world. The Patagonian lancehead has hardly been seen by anyone, let alone scientists like Mark. No one knows how many there are, and the few sightings have been scattered at random. Mark's quarry could be anywhere in this wind-blown wilderness. It's an enormous challenge, but he does have help. Dr. Monique Aloy from Argentina, her field worker Juan Carlos Moreta, and Dr. Marcio Martins from Brazil. They're looking for a very dangerous needle in a very big haystack. But if they find it, the first major study of the Patagonian lancehead's life cycle and behavior can begin.
Mark! Snake here. It's not a bothrops.
Looks like Lystrophis.
Lystrophis with a turned-up nose, savanna species.
At first sight, it looked like it could be a lancehead. But this snake's harmless. It's only mimicking the more dangerous snakes.
Look at the coloration underneath, red and black, on the tail especially. Underneath it resembled a coral snake, so he's getting the best of both worlds. Dorsally he looks like a lancehead, and ventrally he looks like a coral snake. And what he will do is flick his tail up suddenly and do a flash display of the bright red bands underneath, and this is like a coral snake also does this actually, a defence, and animals go, whoa, hang on a minute, and he's mimicking two venomous snakes. Oh well, that's a good start. I'm going to bag him up and I'll have a photo session at the end.
Mark's first base is just north of Bahia Blanca in Argentina, where he gets the chance to handle a lancehead and think about one of the problems he's up against: identification in the wild. This captive snake is from a lancehead species called urutu. The Patagonian lancehead is rarer, and Mark only has a picture of it to go on. In the wild, he may only have seconds to identify it.
This species is larger than the one we're after. It grows much bigger than the Patagonian lancehead.
The urutu and Patagonian lancehead are both pit vipers. Heat-sensitive pits under each eye give them a sixth sense to target prey. Like all venomous snakes, they're highly evolved.
They have become some of the most efficient and feared predators on the planet.
And there's another predator to watch out for.
Well, the largest lizard in Argentina is probably the Tupinambis, the tegu. And they're down burrows, and they won't come out. They're remarkably difficult to catch if you chase them. He's got very sharp teeth, and the jaws are like a vice. I mean, he will just tighten up and his eyes will sink in, and he could break bones. And they'll eat anything.
One of these bone crushers has been chased underground. It's a good chance for Mark to test a head camera he'll be using on the snake hunt.
He's backed off. I found his tunnel. he's not pleased. What I'm trying to do is turn the stick around and see if I can get it behind him and pull him up. Which will not make him a very friendly tegu. People keep these in captivity. And there's one golden rule when you keep tegus, is don't put your hand in their mouths. God, every plant in this place is covered in spines.
The equipment is working, but the tegu is camera shy.
Where? Where'd you see him go? In there. You just see him go in. This side of the way, I think. Not look too friendly. There's just lots of little gaps and ledges and all sorts of places for him to go. I'm inclined to leave him, see if he comes out.
Sí, sí, acá entro. Acá, pero acá termina el hueco. No juego aquí.
Missed him again. There he is. Well, I'm wet now, so.
Ah, yes.
It's a little water snake. Feeding on frogs and fish.
Snakes are not slimy. They don't secrete anything. They don't sweat. They're only wet when they've been caught out in the rain or they've been for a swim. They are very pleasant to handle, provided it's a safe species.
Mark and Monique head for a change of scenery with a local guide. Above the grasslands, the rocky peaks are perfect lancehead terrain, and it's just the right time of day.
Well,
I call it PST, peak snake time. And this varies around the world, but it's the early morning, sort of 7:30 to 9 o'clock or whatever. It's usually about 90 minutes. Go too early and everything's too cool and it's still hidden away. Come too late and everything's too hot. It's either too alert and it's disappeared before you've got there, or it's gone back under cover to get away from the heat.
Not much is known for certain about the Patagonian lancehead, but experts agree on two things. Its venom could be fatal for humans,
he's going a long way.
and it really doesn't like being disturbed.
Must be all manner of animals in here.
There are 2,700 odd species of snakes, but I wouldn't reckon more than 200 to 300 would be in a position to administer a serious bite. But that said, 40,000 people a year die of snake bite around the world. A lot of snakes will dry bite, no venom, or inject a sublethal dose, which is intended as a warning, because the intention of the snake when it bites you like that, defensively, is to get you to go away and leave it in peace, and not to kill you. Its venom is a valuable commodity for dealing with prey, and it would rather conserve it for that.
In this area, the Patagonian lancehead's prey would be a small species of lizard. But Mark's noticed something strange.
This rocky outcrop just cries out to have a population of lizards.
Yes.
And it hasn't got one. Well, not day-active lizards.
Yeah.
And that is the thing that's missing, that life.
That would sustain the bothrops, yeah.
Yeah, lancehead dinner.
Yeah,
So-
the fact that it's lacking.
I'd be almost prepared to put money on the fact that there aren't any Patagonian lanceheads in this immediate
It's quite
vicinity.
possible, even though it's been sighted in the area, but
But
it's...
this is a big area.
It is a very big area.
Localised
It's-
population, somewhere
so-
feeding on a population of lizards, but not this
Exactly, yeah.
localisation.
Monique's a lizard expert and knows how to find them. So Mark decides to change tactics.
What we were doing coming up here was looking for the snake,
Yes.
and I think we're addressing this entirely wrongly. We've got to look for the the diet, we've got to look for the lizards and not for the snake initially.
Yeah.
And if we find the lizards, then we look for the snake.
Then, yes.
By now, it's well past peak snake time, or even peak lizard time. It's too cold for reptiles, and they're all lying low, despite Mark's attempts to shake them up.
If there's lizards here, then I'll disturb them, so I'll see flashes of tails and scuttles, and that's what I'm trying to achieve. Not see what they specifically are, I'm just trying to ascertain if there's any lizards here to support the lancehead. So basically, I'm trying to cover the ground quickly. I'm not trying to sneak up on lizards, I'm just trying to flush them out. Just trying to get a response.
Unfortunately, the search draws another blank, and the team decide to move on. They head 300 miles south to Peninsula Valdes, where the Atlantic storms of the Roaring Forties crash onto the coast. With the world's only colony of elephant seals, it's known as the Zoo of the South Atlantic. Sea lions and whales come back here every year to breed. The cliffs around the peninsula offer a grandstand view of one of the great natural shows on Earth. There's a constant battle among the male elephant seals. Weighing in at 4 tons, they slug it out for status and access to females. They're also highly territorial, and the sea lions keep a safe distance. The reptile experts will have to do the same, as they search a coastline that could be a perfect habitat for the Patagonian lancehead. And Mark O'Shea has another problem. He only knows the snake from photographs, and there's a complication.
Now that we got here is the lancehead. That's the fellow we're after. And it's a very characteristic looking snake. But, alas, there is a mimic, which means people could see that. And there he is. And he's a good mimic. It just means that if we see a lancehead-like snake, we're not necessarily home and dry, and it could be the mimic.
Some snakes mimic a deadly species, evolving similarities to ward off potential predators. The Patagonian lancehead is a pitviper, a heat-seeking missile with needle-sharp fangs. Its mimic is not. Mark has his work cut out to find either. But first, he has to find the lancehead's prey.
I think Peninsula Valdes is the most positive looking habitat we've been in so far. This is the perfect habitat. It's an arenicolous animal. It likes to live in sandy areas, and this is perfect. And its prey lives here. The small Laolimus lizards are supposed to be abundant here.
Monique, lizard. Yes, Leosaurus. I'm sure it is. Monique? See the bit of bush sticking out?
Yes.
Look underneath it. Grey tail,
Yeah, I can see
green with the black reticulations, and a pale head there.
It's gone. Yeah, they're very hard. Once they get into those bushes, then it's really hard because those bushes with these pines, it's...
Tell me about it. I know all about these bushes.
At the moment, it's a bit cold. I mean, all the way through, we've been saying, oh, it's too hot today. No, it's too hot for snakes. Quite frankly, at the moment, it's too damn cold. But if the cloud moves a bit and it warms up, and if the wind would drop a little, I think we'd be in with a very good chance.
The wind didn't drop, but the next morning it's calm, and they finally get their first sign of a snake. There are fresh trails in the sand, but they can't be sure it's the snake they're looking for. Then there's a breakthrough. They spot the lancehead's favourite dinner.
Cut him off at the pass. Oh, that's a bit more difficult for us to go for. He's found a spiky tree. Of course he has. I'm not throwing myself on that.
Monique's colleague, Juan Carlos, has the answer. An old car aerial and some thread make a lizard lasso.
I haven't got him in sight at the moment. No doubt the head cam has, but I haven't. No doubt everybody else can see him except me.
Stop, stop, stop. He's here.
Yes, I see him. He's on the bush, yes.
Yes.
He's on the bush. You can get him from directly above. The lizard. Oh. Oh, right.
I got it. I got it.
Gentle, gentle. Got him, got him. Right, we're almost clear.
Until they study the Patagonian lancehead, no one knows how much it eats. But this lizard would probably be enough for a decent meal.
This is a Laelimus. It's a lizard from Argentina, and there are many, many different species of Laelimus, and they don't really have an English common name. This is an adult male, and this is the prey of the snake that we're looking for.
Everyone's happy with the lizard find. Lanceheads could be nearby. The Patagonian lanceheads can survive cold climates. Mark thinks they might live in small colonies, possibly miles apart. Just like a snake he knows very well at home, the adder.
You can have hundreds of square miles of perfect adder habitat, but not find adders all over it. When you find them, you'll find a colony of adders. Localized, you might find several, and then you could go several miles before you hit another colony, and yet the habitat in between would seem perfect. They are locally common, but not widespread. And so, once you've found one, you've hit on where they are.
After a few hours searching with the others, with nothing to show for it, Mark goes off by himself.
I've got one! There's one over here! Let's go! Look at that. She was out having an early morning warm-up. I didn't see any lizards. I saw a cricket, so I thought animals were getting active. And I'm working my way around through some really good terrain up there, and I just saw a snake coiled up. Very dusty. And I thought, that's patterned right, but is it pseudotomodon? Is it the mimic? And I took a close look, and I thought, no way. So I pinned it, and as soon as I picked it up behind the head, she put a fang out. I didn't even need to look for pits. This is the snake we've been looking for all over Argentina. I'm really annoyed I hadn't got the head cam on. If I got the head cam on, the moment would have been for posterity, but I'll put the head cam on because I think we'll find more. She's really fat down there, but you think she's gravid? I think she's gravid. That's why she's out early. She's trying to get a bit of warmth to bring on her offspring. I just don't believe it, you know. How long's it taken? I just thought I'll go for a walk. Just let me loose for a few minutes and I'll find what you want. Doesn't she blend in beautifully? Up there, I mean, I treated it as if I was looking for adders in Dorset. And if I was looking for adders in Dorset, I'd be looking for sheltered patches. Because you get a wind like this, but where you've got bushes, you'll get little sheltered gaps, and that's where she was. She was coiled in that sort of a shape, with her head right in the middle, just resting on her coils. But she'd got bush around her, and if I disturbed her, I'd have had a job getting her out. And if I'd come over here to fetch everyone and go back, we'd never have found the spot again, and that would have been just... But I think there's going to be more, so when I get head cammed up, we'll go in there.
This snake is a pregnant female. The lanceheads have evolved to bear live young. Leaving eggs to the weather would be risky in the cold of the far south. But a lancehead mother can always find somewhere warm enough to give birth.
Well, let's get this head cam on, because we need to find one on the head cam.
But before the head cam's ready, Mark's hunch about a colony pays off.
Marcio, big grin on his face, and off he'd gone, and he'd found. It was just ridiculous. I couldn't have been more surprised if I found it in my own back garden.
Come here.
We've hit pay dirt with these. One's tempted to just sort of reach in and pick it up. Ouch. Come on, my darling. Can you hear the tail going? Warning. Here we are.
Uh-oh.
Come on. Now, I'm not going to pin this one. I'm going to pass it over to Marcio because he's collecting data on this animal. He wants to get the temperature of the body. So if I'd pinned that down and picked it up with my hand, the body temperature would have started to go up, and so you wouldn't get a good reading.
Yes, the substrate's 22.
Can you see this tail? Now that would ordinarily be on the ground, and it would be making a rattling sound, a warning. You want to get the tail? It's a bit of a bulge, male. This bump here is a male.
The snake is a male. They've found a breeding colony. The first major scientific study of this snake can begin. And Mark O'Shea's job is done.
This is brown mussurana, and he's actually a very lucky little brown mussurana because last night a small boy was about to kill him. Juan Carlos here stepped in and said, no, you mustn't kill that snake, it's harmless. And the small boy and his father insisted that it should be killed. People ought to consider these snakes beneficial because this actually does eat venomous snakes. Juan Carlos removed the snake from their clutches and brought it out here, and we are now about to release it a long way away from any human habitations. No, there's one. There's one.
Yep. That's a pretty fair size one, too. All right.
Cruising up in the foam. Gone. He's gone under.
Reptile hunter and scientist Mark O'Shea has come to Florida to investigate an unexpected comeback by nature's great survivor. The crocodiles outlived the dinosaurs, but in the 1970s, one species, the American crocodile, went to the brink of extinction. Now the beast is back.
That's a big one.
Yeah.
This is also the only place in the world where crocodiles and alligators coexist, but the crocodiles heavily outnumbered. Unlike the alligator, the American crocodile is more at home in the tropics. The south of Florida is the very limit of its range. It lives mainly in Central and South America. But the nuclear power plant at Turkey Point has kick-started the crocodile's revival. 168 miles of cooling water canals are ideal habitat. Reptile scientist Joe Wasilewski oversees a breeding program here.
Look at here.
Oh, yeah.
This is like a crocodile
That's
highway.
tails. That's tail drags. This is these markings, you know, I always say to people, never camp on a sandbank if somebody's been riding a bicycle on it. Because it means there's a croc there. It just looks like bicycle track.
Yep.
It's a unique revival for a large reptile. At Turkey Point and in the Everglades, Mark plans to find the cause and whether it can last. There are still only a few hundred crocodiles in Florida, and Mark knows their comeback could be short-lived. Alligators are a far more common sight, numbering well over 1 million. When people are around, crocodiles tend to disappear. They've been known to cause panic on the golf course, but it's really the crocodile that's in danger.
When there are nuisance crocs, that's very sad, but it actually means that the populations have got to the point where they are recovering rapidly. So it's almost a good sign when people are having to remove crocodiles permanently.
Mark.
Yeah.
In this business, this is what I call a two-hander.
Yeah, I'm with you.
Unfortunately, precious crocodiles are often mistaken for alligators and killed.
Almost.
But the two species diverged more than 50 million years ago. Few realize that humans and chimpanzees are much more closely related.
Right. Okay.
Crocodilian similarity is only skin deep.
I'll get out the crocodile.
This is a American alligator, and it's quite a dark animal, whereas that's an American crocodile. And you'll see immediately there's a colour difference. That's olive green brown, and it's pointed snout.
Wait.
So rather than this nice smooth round curve,
We got him. We got him.
rather than a nice smooth round curve, there's a notch behind the nostrils.
Close it?
Yeah, show his mat down. And you can see the teeth protrude, the fourth tooth, the lower jaw protrudes up through the notch. Very narrow snout in comparison to the alligator. The scales on the back of the neck are much more pronounced, and they're actually quite sharp, and they will cut you, whereas these on the gator don't. If I was a betting man, which I'm not, and you were to ask me which would I expect to be the winner out of two equal-sized animals, it'd be the croc every time. Its temperament is much more aggressive.
They're so quicker.
It's much better at taking fish and almost any prey.
They estimate 1.5 million alligators.
1.5 now, is it? Yeah.
And they're estimating 500 crocodiles left. So take that percentage.
The crocodile may be outnumbered, but Joe's confident that the population at Turkey Point is on the up. Mark's arrived during the breeding season, the best time to see if there's a healthy new generation of crocodiles. Mounds of earth left behind when the canals were dug out make perfect nesting sites for the females. They're above the high tide mark and give shelter from the weather. Mark investigates the key feature in the crocodile's regeneration.
Now, you can see right here.
Yep, drag marks.
Actually, there's 3, which means she came in, came
Went
out,
out,
and somebody
okay.
came back again.
She won't be on that side. There's a right breeze. Crocodilians do not like the wind, and that's blowing on that side. This is much more sheltered.
Here's where there was a nest last year, and this area produces at least 1 nest every year. But we will come back later tonight to find out exactly where she is.
Yeah.
At night, powerful searchlights pick out the telltale red eyes of a crocodile.
He's under the bush. Slow, slow. Yes.
He's under the...
Mark will only have a few seconds to catch the startled reptile.
We put him down.
we-
That there.
See it?
There's eye shine.
Okay, yeah, I see it. All right, this one's yours now. I'll shine you. It's on the shore.
Is it?
You might have to jump off.
Okay.
Okay, he's ready to bolt. He's ready to bolt. You got him?
Yeah.
All right. There you go. Good job.
Yo, what was that?
Are you in the mud?
No, but I cracked my knee on a rock.
You okay?
Yeah, I'm fine.
Well, you got the crocodile.
Of course I got the crocodile.
Oh, okay, all right. Wonderful.
Of course I got the crocodile.
Wonderful. It is a toddler, but that's important. Is it marked? Do you see any marks on it?
No,
Good, good, good.
it's a new one for you. Yeah, this is stinky mud.
I got it.
Here I
Wow.
come.
Well, we got a whole bunch of science to do with this poor animal. He looks nice and healthy.
He was till I landed on him and flattened him.
Ooh. How's your knee?
It'll survive. I've got another one. Yeah, you were going to leap out of my hands and disappear into the water then, weren't you? I was going to put a microchip in
We're
it.
going to put a microchip in him. We're going to weigh him. We're going to measure him. We're going to document this into history.
And then the little fella's going back.
I'm going to get the microchip. Yeah, if this animal turned up in Key Largo or in Florida Bay or anywhere in Miami, you would definitely be able to trace it back to when it was captured in
No,
its
it
whole
was the one
history.
here. Yeah.
Now he says, I'm from Turkey Point. Okay.
There you go.
All right. No blood, no nothing.
And if you
Let's-
want-
Let's turn it on. Let's see. From now on, bingo. It's number 116749561A.
Up you go, little chap. Oh, it's nice and warm in there.
There you have it. Give him a little spook.
Go on. He's dazed.
Even here, only 1 in 20 crocodiles makes it to maturity.
He gets us on it.
There it is.
These are enclosed waters, but they still hold some surprises.
Sorry?
Pretty deep there.
Yeah.
Get him from the side, Stu. All right.
Look at that. If that's not something out of Alien, I don't know what is.
That's a living dinosaur
That
right
is.
there.
It's an arachnid. But this is the kind of thing that freaks Sigourney Weaver. Look at that. Horseshoe crab. You know, I mean, this is the kind
Watch
of
it with that sting. He could kill a baby elephant.
Only if it tried to eat it all in one go. Look at this, though. I mean, it is the... You can... This, I'm sure, was used in Alien.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
That is just fantastic.
Quite remarkable.
Isn't it? I mean, they are millions and millions and millions of years old.
Yes.
All the way up to Hollywood, it stayed the same.
The original computer.
Yeah, look at that. I mean, it's like a German helmet on legs.
Put it on the bow.
All right, off you go. I used to have one of these. I used to have to crank it up, you know, and it... It is just unreal. I think your radio control's bugging, mate. Put him off in the water.
Actually, to the right, yeah.
Look at there. There's a pair mating.
Oh, they're mating.
They're mating.
Wow.
This is really cool. This is something I've seen dead ones on beaches. I've never seen a live one.
Well, there you have it.
Now I have. That's it. Swim upside down just to be awkward. Look at that.
That's what we call in America. He's beating feet.
Come on, let's go get another crocodile.
Go around this way. Okay, slow, slow, slow. I want to get a look at it. All right, I see it. Oh, no, that's a big one. That could be a mama. That could be a mother. I mean, it's catchable, but I'm not
don't
going
wanna
to touch one.
Yeah.
There's a tail.
Yes.
A nesting female is Mark O'Shea's evidence that the population's getting stronger.
That's about...
But with only 16 nesting sites on the canals, the crocodile's future survival is still in the balance.
I think they can
Trying
say
to
her
get
idea.
that's very easily captured, but there's no way, Mark, I'm going to
No, if she hadn't laid
jeopardize.
her eggs, she could have bought them all.
It would be not good science
It wouldn't, no.
catch it right now, so.
We'll go and find one that's either laid or find a male or something.
Right.
Both men are desperate to capture a big crocodile. But after 5 more hours on the airboat, they call it a night. On the way back, Mark spots a large male. He'll only have one chance to catch him.
There. There he is. There. Right there.
All right. That was a beauty. God, we were so close
That
again.
was close. That was close. It was on his nose.
That was close.
Disappointed.
Hurt.
Pride's injured, is it?
Well, that last one really got me.
that was just taken at this. That was one.
One of the crocodiles we saw tonight for certain was a female full of eggs, and I wouldn't molest or bother that animal at all.
We were after something in between.
I wanted to catch a bigger one. When you go after crocodiles, bigger is better.
Over 14 million people live in Florida, and 1,000 more arrive every day. The cities are eating up vital habitat. For one more chance to catch a big crocodile, Mark heads for one of the last unspoiled regions in America, the Everglades. He's to meet Dr. Frank Mazzotti, who's bringing in new measures to protect the species. First up is a tour of the local nesting sites.
So, you ready to go out and take a look at some crocodiles?
Yeah, sure am.
Okay, here's going to be our route. We're at the ranger station now. We're going to be heading out here around Eagle Key,
Yeah.
over to this really beautiful nesting beach out here. Give you some idea what Florida looked like before all those condos were on the beach.
Yeah, before 14 million people.
Yeah,
right?
too true, mate. Then later on this evening, we'll be going on up Taylor River, where there's another nest site to what I call the heart of crocodile country, up through a series of ponds. That's where we'll wait for sundown and we'll begin the hunt, come back down the river.
Excellent, excellent. So we'll be torching for them tonight.
That'll be later on this evening, yep. That's what we'll be doing.
Red eyes.
At night.
Excellent, I love doing that. That turnkey.
Turnkey. That's nest key right there.
Yeah, with a camping ground on it.
They must keep their eyes open. There may be a protective mother around, and they don't know what they're going to find.
Wow, this is really turned over.
That's been does a lot of digging there.
Before they hatch, crocodile eggs are in grave danger from the bandits of the natural world, who have no predators and are on the increase.
Oh, we have raccoons already? Look at this, Raccoons found a nest already.
Oh no. We've got a nest here. 2 nests, we think. And they've been hit by raccoons. They've dug up all the eggs, and as you can see, they've eaten them, wiped out the whole clutch.
There's got to be at least 2, if not 3 clutches of eggs here, Mark, by the number we've seen so far.
Yeah, I reckon you might be right, because there's about another dozen here.
And especially the areas over which they were spread.
Yep.
You know, we're finding like different concentrations in different places.
There's a big concentration here. Yeah, Frank, this isn't going to please you very much.
Boy, you got another pile there, don't you? See how many we have here.
The Everglades population has lost more than 100 eggs.
See it, star spider?
Yes, yes.
Gasteracanther. Isn't that a beauty?
It is, orb weaver.
Whenever I see eggs like this, it never makes me happy. What's good about it is that we found out about it, and so I'm always encouraged when I know what happens.
The crocodile is in such a dire strait with the fact that the numbers are so low that you can't afford to lose nests like this. If there's 5 nests here and you've lost 3 to raccoons, it means that you've only got 2 at best this season.
You can see it's a hard-shelled egg, like a sea turtle or like a bird. But this one here is a good illustration of the hard outer shell and the leathery inner membrane, which of course is like the lizards and snakes.
This is quite tough, and a little baby with an egg tooth isn't going to make that much of an effect on that if it's very, very dry and solid. And so the mother will come along, and those incredibly powerful crushing jaws that she uses on her prey so efficiently are used very gently to crack the eggshell without harming the youngster inside. And then when it's out, she may even carry the youngster to a nursery to safety.
We've seen here where the mothers have carried both eggs and shells and the hatchlings up to 200 or 300 meters away from a nest before she lets them go.
You know, that's an intelligent creature.
Yes, it is.
I think so. None of this, the brain's the size of a peanut. That's an intelligent creature. There's a wake ahead of us. Something's
pushing a lot of water.
Could be a manatee.
Could be.
Or a croc. Unless it's a shoaler fish.
Having witnessed the disaster at the nesting site, Mark is very excited at the possibility of studying a large adult crocodile.
It's over here now.
So excited, in fact, that he leaves the boat behind.
I can tell you exactly how deep this is because I've just hit the bottom of it head first. The boat hit a snag, stopped dead. I'm on the front watching for overhanging branches and crocodiles, and I carried on, head first, straight to the bottom of the creek. So I'm trying to get back up to the surface as quick as possible. I'm wet, I'm going to be cold as well. I think, well, we'll see how the mosquitoes are, but if they're not too bad, I'm going to dispense with my shirt. But, yeah, I hadn't planned to take an early bath, but,
All right, Mark, you ready for our night survey?
Yes, I'm ready.
Okay, you got the nooses right behind you.
Yeah, I've got it.
We'll be heading up shining, and don't forget, if the animals are bigger than 2 meters, they could be nesting females, so we got to leave them alone.
If they're over 2 meters.
If they're over 2 meters, that's
yeah,
correct.
And we don't want to disturb them.
Yeah, just like it was for you guys at Turkey Point.
Yep, yep.
Exactly the same. Again, unless it's really big and we know it's a male, then we can go for it.
Okay, and how big's that?
Well, the biggest animal we've caught in South Florida has been in this river.
In here?
In here, 12 feet, 10.5 inches.
And that was a male?
That was a male.
That's a...
So if we see anything big and I yell, go for it, go for it.
How are we going to haul a 13-foot crocodile into this boat?
We will not haul a 13-foot crocodile into this boat. We'll tie him up alongside of us.
Okay. But anything under 2 meters is fair game as well?
Anything under 2 meters is fair game.
Crocodiles can live for over 50 years. Plenty of time to learn to stay away from humans.
There, yeah, I got him.
Got him.
Right over the far bank, right the far bank. There's another one right over there. He's gone down. No, he's still there. That's 3.
Let's go after this guy.
In danger, a crocodile can stay underwater for more than half an hour, slowing its heart to a few beats per minute.
He's gone down already. He's in the middle.
Jeez.
Gone. He's gone under. There it is. There it is. Right there. So got it? Can you see it cruising away there? That's about a 5-footer.
Judging the size of a submerged crocodile is hard, even for experts. Mark only has seconds to make up his mind, and he mustn't catch a female.
Engine off. Engine off.
Too big.
He's on.
Yeah.
Sorry. Is he too big?
No.
How big? Is he too big?
Yeah.
Well, he's on. I have to get it off his nose.
Having waited so long to catch one, Mark will have to let it go as soon as possible.
Sorry. What is the 5 foot? You think that's a gravid female?
Well, it's that size that means you can't tell.
Right.
Well, we got to get that thing off him.
I'm sorry.
Well, that's
Slacken that off. I'll try and slacken it off.
Yeah, let her get tired first.
Okay. Yeah, it does look full-bellied, doesn't it? That's it's off. She's off. Okay. She's gone. Great.
There's no damage done, and the pregnant females a guarantee that some more eggs will be laid this year.
I'll tell you, it was cruising across the front of us, and the boat was still moving, and it was going and we were going, and I reckon it was about 5 foot, and I had about one. I only was going to have one chance at that before, well, it was under the boat or whatever, and so I just went with a noose, and I caught it round the mouth with the noose, and I got it. But Frank says, "Oh no, it's too big." But by then, the noose had closed on it.
I think that was our best chance, and that animal was the wrong size.
It is a disappointment. We might not get one, but I mean, we've seen upwards of 40 American crocodiles. You can't grumble at that. A rare species, and we've seen 40. We've seen in 3 different locations. I mean, I'm perfectly satisfied with that. I haven't got to kiss it.